Welcome back to the show, everybody. Take a look at these numbers while we run the headlines here. Ripple wires 766 million XRP. We got BlackRock, Google, Morgan Stanley, SBI, Bitcoin mining in Russia shut down. We got Ripple U.S. Mexican corridor. You're going to want it. And guess what else we got? Hester, Peirce from the SEC confronted over the double standard of ETHGATE. You're going to want every single bit of that. And brand new, fresh off the press, SEC Ripple filing for redactions of narrowly tailored redactions for expert testimony. We got the who and we got the why. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow us on TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook for exclusive content. And you know what? Right now, we're looking at Coin Paprika, baby. Download the app. It is really nice, smooth, and clean operating experience on that mobile app. I love it. It's $1.076 trillion right now. We looked at the favorites. We looked at the all-time highs this morning, but right now, we're going to just look at price. 21,400 right now. 24-hour, the market is bleeding right now, falling like a manhole cover from the sky as we head into the weekend. Off by more than 8% for Bitcoin, off by more than 9% for Ethereum at 1,600, almost 1,700 bucks. Number 7 spot is 33 cents for XRP. We're off by 10.5+% right now. Yeah, I know. But think of this. The middle class is steadily shrinking and more are falling into a new class that are precarious. I can't even say it. Precariat. That's it right there. Sorry about that. You heard me sound it out. I'll buy some flashcards over the weekend. Precariat, which really means insecure about what they've got. Anxious and financially struggling. That's exactly right. Like I'm struggling over saying precariat, for Christ's sakes. But anyway, the reality is welfare state and ability to meet all demands facing it is creaking at the seams. And you know what? This does speak to something that isn't funny. And what isn't funny is the situation that the entire world is in right now with inflation running out of control. I was just talking about this with my wife the other day. I don't know how people are doing it. You know, we're able to still do it and get by and, you know, we're not feeling it like others. But I have friends and family members who are not so fortunate. And I tell you, you know, as much as I'm excited about working with Glint, I'm more excited about being a customer. And I'm going to go out this weekend. And I am really, truly trying to build not only a portfolio I'm proud of and using gold to do that with Glint, but also being able to create my own gold financial system, the alternative to banking, which is Glint Pay. And that's what I'm doing. I go out on the weekends, I'll buy a dinner or I'll go get groceries. And I did it last weekend. And guess what? It felt so good, I'm going to do it again this weekend. I'll prove it to you after the weekend's over. Check out the link underneath the description. It is really, really remarkable to have that power back in your hands. I love it. Popular crypto platform Whale Alert that tracks down large amounts of cryptocurrencies has spotted several substantial transactions that carried nearly 767 million XRP tokens. And I tell you, as DAI likes to say, I bet you dimes and donuts. The majority, if not all of that, had nothing to do with retail. How about that? That's pretty interesting, right? Follow Michael Branch, Hall of Famer. If you're not doing it, he was hacked not long ago. Let's get his followers back. BlackRock, Google, and Morgan Stanley investing billions into blockchain and crypto technology while the market is off. We went over the numbers. More than 60% off for the price of Bitcoin from all-time high. More than 65% off for Ethereum. More than 90% off for XRP. But it isn't stopping BlackRock and Google and Morgan Stanley from going out here and building out this space. They know what's going on. Little reminder, Google, seed investor in Ripple. Not financial advice. Ripple's partner SBI to shut crypto mining in Russia. This is really due all around the sanctions that took place. I'm going to read you a part of this. In August last year, Russia accounted for about 11% of the global processing power used for minting new units of Bitcoin, according to Cambridge Center of Alternative Finance, making it the third biggest mining hub behind Kazakhstan. It says, in fact, per the latest numbers, electricity consumptions by Russia crypto miners has spiked by 20 times in 5 years. That's a hell of a number. However, the sanctions imposed on Russia by other nations, including the U.S., has made the landscape unstable. Compass Mining, for instance, it says here, sought to liquidate $30 million in hardware in Siberia to avoid sanctions back in April, per the SBI spokesman. The company suspended mining in Siberia soon after the war began, resultantly, they said the move impacted Ripple's lead partner, Financial Health. Reportedly, the company's crypto assets business registered a pre-tax loss of roughly $72 million in Q2 this year. And that's why they packed up and moved. But I tell you what, not on this side of the fence, though. SBI Remit joins hands with enable real-time payments between Japan and Thailand, which were reported earlier this week. And we know XRP is a huge part of that process. And that is very exciting because these next couple pieces, including that one, is all about utility, ladies and gentlemen. And the liquidity and utility is very important that it come from the same place. And I tell you, one of the real metrics to really watch in any crypto project is to watch real cash come into the project, right? Real cash, real fiat dollars coming into Ripple and XRP and making it happen between these corridors, just like here between Mexico and the U.S. Ripple's on-demand liquidity and several banking partners. This has made Bitso one of the biggest crypto remittance agents. Don't forget about that. And just recently we saw this. Ripple partnered with Travelex Bank yesterday to enable payments in Brazil. Remember, Brazil is a part of the BRICS coalition, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, and many other nations now claiming to join as they work on a new global reserve currency. Keep that in mind. So does this count as BRICS coalition corridor? I'm asking for a friend. Shout out to Big Skitty there. You know, one has to wonder if we're seeing these fractionalized zones take place. And don't forget, while we're entertaining these ideas, some of these things, working theories and working through them to see if we can collectively dismiss them or keep them on the table until we can't. Ripple has been shortlisted for the CBDC solution in the G20 challenge. How about that one? Ripple has been shortlisted for its central bank digital currency solution in the G20 challenge. The 20 biggest economies in the world shortlisted Ripple. You want that one more time? I didn't think you needed it. I'm pretty sure you got it. CFTC commissioner says while all of that's going on, we got Kristen Johnson here telling CoinDesk that she's well aware of the fact that crypto market needs clearer guidelines. Now, we see why Ms. Johnson here is working at the CFTC and not the SEC, because she likes to tell the truth. There is no clarity here in the way that we need it in the crypto space, and talks about the current bills in Congress, which I'm not going to bore you with, but we know that the DCEA would be a great addition if they revive that and get it through both houses and get some clear guidelines for cryptocurrency going forward. This is Hester Peirce talking with Thinking Crypto, Tony Edward right here. And I tell you what, Tony, I have to say, and I'm no judge, but this is one of the greatest interviews I've ever seen. And you do some great interviews, my friend. So, I mean, this is really going up on the shelf because you ask the tough questions, right? We need answers, and damn it, Tony asked them. But that doesn't mean you always get them. Here's Hester Peirce from the SEC.
I have to ask you some questions around Ethereum and one of your former colleagues, Bill Hinman. And this may be awkward, but I have to ask because there has been certain information released through the Ripple case, even FOIA requests from Empower Oversight, which is a nonprofit whistleblower organization. So there are sayings that the ethics department in the SEC warned Bill Hinman about conversations with Simpson Thatcher, who is part of the Ethereum Alliance. Bill Hinman gave a speech about Ethereum saying it's not a security. Jay Clayton, Commissioner Jackson, a bunch of folks endorsed that speech and have publicly referenced it as a kind of a standard. I want to, I don't know what you can say about this, but I want to get your thoughts. And the public is feeling a lack of confidence in the SEC as a result of these details.
So FOIA requests come in all the time, and they're handled. We have rules and processes around the way they're handled, and so that these FOIA requests you're talking about will be handled according to those same rules and processes, and that's typically how people can get information about what agencies are doing. They use FOIA requests all the time.
Are you able to comment on any of the potential ethics concerns and potential conflicts of interest around?
I can't comment.
Okay.
I can't comment. Hester, you have such an opportunity to help restore integrity to the SEC. Now is the time for strength, not silence. But we're not done, because Tony pressed on. Here we hear this right here in this quick clip.
Have asked me to check with you. This is an awkward question to ask.
And look how pissed off she looks right there with her face. Body language is a lot. But you know what, Hester? You wouldn't be sitting there in such what feels like a compromised position to be asked these questions from a YouTuber if somebody there would exhibit some form of leadership and some sense of patriotism to restore integrity back in that agency you walk into every day.
Is there anything that you're aware of that happened with the SEC that you could be a whistleblower to?
I just can't comment on that question.
You just can't comment on that question. Well, then how about this one? Because Hester acknowledges that she reads Twitter just like we all do.
Chairman Gensler, unlike his colleagues, Jay Clayton and Bill Hinman, has not spoken about Ethereum, even though Bill Hinman and Jay Clayton have talked about Ethereum. And he just primarily talks about Bitcoin. Are you folks at the SEC going to be reviewing Ethereum's ICO? Because folks are wondering, is there a double standard here? Why did Ethereum kind of get a clearance, so to speak, and the other projects are getting, have targets on their backs?
So, Tony, you and I both read Twitter, and so, I can't talk about potential investigations, rumors of investigations, particular tokens, particular companies. I just can't talk about any of those kinds of things.
Well, it's not that we really need you to talk about it, Hester. We need you to take action. Hester Peirce reads Twitter, and she knows full well everything we do about ETHGATE, because she acknowledged that she sees all the stuff that goes on Twitter. And the stuff that we show on Twitter is actually the words of the people who participated in these things. The question is, will she or any of her colleagues do their job and investigate William Hinman, Jay Clayton's actions? This only gets bigger from here because the truth is on our side, and we all know it. And I tell you, this would be a perfect opportunity, too, because Hester Peirce is the one that proposed the safe harbor rule. And, this should have been in place, and this could eliminate a lot of this gray area that's going on to give these free pass for Ethereum. This just in right here, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to want every single bit of it. Shout out to James K. File and Jim. We appreciate you and all the different legal analysts out here helping every one of us stay on top of what's going on. This just came out, ladies and gentlemen. The Ripple defendants have filed a letter proposing narrowly tailored redactions to limited number of exhibits to the briefs filed by parties in opposition to the motions to exclude expert testimony. So in other words, protect the other people involved that really don't need to be mentioned, right? Now, I'm not going to read the whole thing to you. This is it right here. And it basically says exactly what I was saying to you, right? It goes through and it starts to break down what it believes is the way that the identities of non-parties need to be proposed redactions here for the defendants to protect them. What is interesting about this is when you go through, defendants seek to protect the identities of certain non-party entities, including and among others, digital asset market participants and Ripple's business partners, whose privacy interests should weigh heavily in the court's balanced equation. Makes sense. They're not a part of this thing. Many of the affected third parties have expressed defendants their strong desire for such redactions to protect their privacy interests. The court should grant these redactions for all of these reasons articulated by defendants in their July 22nd sealing motion, which sought similar redactions. Those arguments apply with equal force here. First, the identities of these non-parties have no bearing at all on the Daubert responses. Now, I want to go to this because Jeremy Hogan says here in that particular section he's highlighting here, Ripple's requesting relatively limited relative to the SEC redactions of exhibits, mainly to keep non-parties' names out of the pleadings. Could digital asset market participants be referring to actual XRP retail purchasers? Crossing fingers. Let's hope so. But then I'm asking the question here, because if you look at what that section, and one section here says here, listen, I'm 12 years short of a law degree, so some legal analyst on this wouldn't hurt. But the court should grant these redactions articulated by defendants in the July 25th sealing motion. First, identities of these non-parties have no bearing. Second, disclosure would be detrimental to these non-parties' legitimate privacy interests and Ripple's commercial relationships with them. Well, here's this much I know, and maybe it's a different section Jeremy may be referencing. He could help us all with that. He's certainly smarter than I am. But in this particular sentence, Ripple's commercial relationship with them. Ripple has no commercial relationship with any retail participants. They do not sell to retail. Right? So the question remains is, Ripple defendants have filed narrowly tailored redactions. Disclosures would be detrimental to non-parties' legitimate privacy interests and Ripple's commercial relationship with them. Could this be to protect pre-allocated option contract holders? You know, remember, there isn't a Q report anywhere that I'm aware of, and if you find it, show it to me. I'll make the redaction in this video, that ever expressed the ownership of the option contract of Greg Kidd or R3 that I'm aware of. And because they're option contracts that have not been executed, they do not have to report them as belonging to someone else because they don't belong to someone else until that option contract is executed. One has to wonder. You know, this is where we are on this day. I'm wishing everybody a happy Friday. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe, leave a comment below. This is getting interesting, ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you something else, too. At some point, this thing is a wrap. Now, it may move to a higher court, but there'll be a decision from this one in order for that to happen. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. I'll catch all of you on the next one.